Perfect. Hi and welcome, everyone. Really happy to have you here, and really happy to have you here as well, Pietro. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here, live and direct. Thank you for inviting me, Frederick.
Yeah, of course. How are you doing?
Good, good. I'm looking forward to this. I always love to share a little bit of my knowledge, but yeah, it'd be interesting with a live stream, which is similar to a webinar. I've done those in the past, but yeah, this will be great.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I will just start with a short introduction. I'm Frederick. I'm the co-founder of HiCareer, and I'm super excited to start with our HiCareer sessions. This is the first sessions of 4 before we take a short summer break. And yeah, I'm happy to have Pietro from Neo4j here. And our purpose, or the purpose with these kind of sessions, is to give you, you as a candidate or as an individual looking to thrive in your career or looking to find your next move, we want to go behind the scenes on how things are actually working inside the companies. How do people or companies evaluate you as a candidate in the process? And I guess, Pietro, that you know quite a lot about that with your experiences working both as a consultant for IKEA, quite a well-known brand from Sweden, and now for Neo4j. So yeah, I'm just super happy to have you here for the first session, first HiCareer session ever. I will just shortly go through the agenda today. So I will very soon let Pietro do the talk, so to say. You will share a presentation of how things are actually working at Neo4j. After your presentation, I will have a short Q&A session with you. I have some interesting topics to discuss with you, and I'm also super excited to let you that are watching this to ask your questions. So you can always use the comment, the comment part, and just throw out your questions later on. And we will try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, it's bad echo. It's always something, right?
But I cannot hear it myself, but yeah, maybe if I mute myself when you speak and vice versa, maybe it's better. Yeah. We can A/B test on the on the people watching.
Perfect. Thanks for the input here. But I think I will actually let you in, Pietro. I'm super excited to hear what you have to say here. And yeah, you're the main person here, so feel free.
Awesome. Let's get up the presentation. There we go. Yeah. Very good. Well, again, thank you for having me. I'm excited about going through this, and quick agenda on my end. So I will give you an overview of my experience, who I am, what I've done, different companies I worked for, and then I'll focus a little bit more on Neo4j, what we are doing, how we do recruiting at Neo4j, and we will go into a little bit of tips. How to find jobs in the tech market, how to stand out. I know Frederick has prepared some questions as well, so it will end in a more Q&A kind of way. But to start about myself, this is an old picture. I have different hair and less beard, but I'm Pietro. I'm a recruiting manager today at Neo4j. I've been working in tech recruitment for almost 8 years now, and I have a technical bachelor as the foundation. The reason why I worked with recruitment my whole career, more or less, is because I'm a people person. So I love to work with people, but still I love tech. So I wanted to find something that had both sides, and recruiting was perfect. So throughout my career so far, I worked at Randstad, IKEA, and Neo4j, very different companies. The two more exciting ones, I think, for my own career has been IKEA and Neo4j, which is very different. Randstad is a recruitment and consultancy company, and I had many different tech companies to find the talent. Was a very good school. I started with sourcing and got really good at that. And then I was doing both the sales part, like our services, and then conducting the actual recruitment. IKEA was very different. I joined IKEA and I was thrown into a more global market. So I was hiring within data and analytics, cybersecurity, digital ethics, things along those lines across Europe. It was Sweden, Spain, Netherlands, and some other places at times. And the volume was very different. It was high volume, building teams from scratch. Super exciting. IKEA is a very well-known brand. They're doing interesting, exciting things in tech, going through a digital transformation for many years, still ongoing. And then I decided to join Neo4j, which is a very different companies from the two previous ones. The reason why I did change to Neo4j, I mean, being technically interested and having my technical bachelor, I really wanted to work for a tech company. That has always been on my checklist. And if you don't know, Neo4j is the inventors and founders of graph databases, and today the leading graph database. I'll get into that in a minute. But so very different experience from IKEA for sure. IKEA was more scale. Here I got more niched. Okay, fewer roles to hire for, but much harder roles to fill for sure. And also from a structure versus speed point of view, IKEA has a very strong processes, very deep into the culture, but then the size is much bigger. The structure is bigger, so things tend to move a little bit slower. Neo4j is a smaller company, tech at heart, so much more agile from that perspective. But what really got me to move to Neo4j, from IKEA to Neo4j, the important part for me was still the culture and values. IKEA is known for, world-class culture values. They win prizes and awards for that. And I really wanted to still have that, finding my next step. And the Neo4j is a Swedish company. It's from the start, at least. It's born in Sweden. And Swedish work culture usually brings these people-oriented values. So Neo4j is also a very culture-strong company, but you have this, true tech, open source mentality of Silicon Valley headquarters and heart. So that mix was just irresistible for me. So I would say those are the main differences. Two different brands, two global brands in very different sectors, and exciting in different ways. But I've been at Neo4j now for a bit more than 2.5 years, probably some more years to come. And not sure if let's continue a bit more about Neo4j in general terms. So as I mentioned, Neo4j is the leading open source graph database. Was founded here in Sweden many years ago. That 2007 is the company. The concept has its own story and is even older. But we are roughly around 900 employees globally today. And of those, 250 are engineers. This is a true engineering company. This is built by engineers, for engineers, or users. It's a database, so it's builders, so developers, data scientists, machine learning engineers, building interesting products, mission critical products that solves real life problems. That's very exciting to be part of that journey. Those engineers, we have 2 engineering hubs. One is in Malmö, Sweden, and one in London, UK. That's where we hire our engineering base. So the headquarters is in Silicon Valley in the US, but engineering remained here in Europe for different reasons. That's another story, but we have people all over the world almost. So that's exciting. I say remote 25. We used to hire a bit more remotely ad hoc from time to time back in the days. We don't do that as much as the technology builds on relationships, the database. That's the part of the culture we're trying to foster. So we try to have people somewhat close by, but it's still a very hybrid and flexible workplace.
Can I just throw in a short question to you?
Yeah, for sure.
How did you land the job at Neo4j? Did you just apply for it, or?
It's a funny story actually. So my the person who was my manager at the time, exactly when I joined, they had actually reached out to me like months before. I did apply, but I didn't see. This is the usual thing. People, recruiters reach out, but LinkedIn is flooded, so you don't see the message. So they did reach out, asking, yeah, would you be interested in this tech? It was senior tech recruiter role at the time. I didn't see it, and then I applied months after, because at the time I was ready. I wanted, okay, I've decided I want to find something more tech oriented and whatnot. But then I also saw, oh, they did reach out months ago. So, but I did the full interview process as usual, and well, how I landed a job, I think my experience is quite good. I have technical background, and then I worked in recruiting. So when it comes to tech recruitment, I have a good profile. And some of the things I will mention in general that are good to think about today, I think is stuff that I have applied myself. But that was a funny story, though, that they did reach out, I didn't see it, and then I myself applied. So that was how it started.
Cool. And yeah, you learned a lot about just that part, like following up as a recruiter is quite important, right? So
indeed, yeah, that's a good point. But good, maybe just a little bit, not too much deep down on the technical stuff, but many people, or some people, they don't know what a graph database is. Not all of you maybe watching even works with databases today. But you probably know a database. There are systems to store data or other types of files and information generally. And there are many types of different ones. We have the more old school one, the relational databases, SQL. You can think of like an Excel sheet. You store data in tables, basically. And then you have others called NoSQL. They have different types of those. And then Neo4j is technically a NoSQL database, but we are specifically a graph database. And I'll give a very quick what it means. So a graph database, instead of storing data in tables, stores data in nodes. It's like an object, and edges, which is the relationship between these two objects. This is a very easy to see example of that. We have 3 nodes here, 2 students, Pat and Alice, and they are visiting a company, which is Neo4j. This is how the data gets stored on disk level, and it's very different way of thinking about your data, storing your data. We think that this is a much more natural way of representing the world around us. When you build application or solve problems, and you don't think maybe in tables. You don't represent or try to solve problems thinking of things in tables. Often you do mind maps and trying to see how do things relate to each other. So for that, graph is very strong. To give you, this is the almost like you would type or think of a query. When you query the database, you have a node, and then it's the connection visits, and then Neo4j to the other node. So as I mentioned, relational databases, they use tables. And the problem is, or not the problem, but what graph is very good at is when you're trying to understand how data relates to each other, how things are connected. A more classical relational database, you need to join different tables to understand that. And this is a quick example of what you see above and how you would represent it in a table. You have 2 different columns, student and company, and then you need to join them together to understand who is visiting Neo4j of the students. In a graph, the relation is already mapped or there, so you just transverse the graph. So it's very easy. And also when you expand, you just add nodes and add relationships. You don't need to know this. This is me just sharing a little bit why graph is has been revolutionizing the way we use data, especially for certain use cases where a relationship really are important. We are used today, like a graph is not domain specific. You can use graph in almost any industry, any domain, as long as the relationship is important. And today we're used by 84% of the Fortune 100 companies. So we are really all over the place, all kinds of industries and domains. These are just some of the more famous, we could say, use cases that we usually showcase. NASA, they took all the information from past missions, put that into a knowledge graph, and try to see, okay, what can we learn from all of this information, and that helped them to reach Mars faster, which is exciting. The Panama Papers is also a very classical ones. Some journalists they uncovered the tax havens of 214,000 offshore entities. This included wealthy people, companies, whatnot, and they put that also into Neo4j, and they could really understand how things were connected. And then we're all been through COVID. Pfizer, they utilized Neo4j to help assist the distribution of the vaccine. We're also very central in the Gen AI and AI in general, but the generative AI is a very central use case or area where Neo4j is popular. The reason for that is graph just makes sense. It's a match made in heaven when you build this Gen AI backed application with LLMs, having a knowledge graph, putting data from different sources and make sense of that. Yeah, graph is perfect. And if you want to use graph, Neo4j is the way to go. An interesting one is the Klarna use case, where they took away over 1,000 software as a service platforms, and they pull all data into a knowledge graph. They worked a lot on the data, but what they did in the end was they created Kiki, which is their own internal chatbot, having all the knowledge of everything in the company, basically. So everyone now can explore the data inside, no matter where you are. So the data is not siloed anymore. You can read more about this use case. It's a very interesting one. So yeah, Gen AI is a very exciting area for us. We aim to be the go-to database when you work with Gen AI-backed applications. So yeah, I thought this one was exciting. Has been a bit of a buzz around this use case recently, so you can go ahead and read more about that. But what I do is I hire more software engineers. Is the bread and butter of what we do. We have other technical roles like product management and field engineers and lots of sales and go to market and I think things like that as well. But focusing a bit more on the developers, the software engineers. We work in product teams, distributed mostly across Malmo and London. The team size are around the smallest ones, around 2, but usually 5 to 10, something like that. Language-wise or technology-wise, we really use a lot. Neo4j is built on Java. The 4j in the name gives that away, but we have lots of technologies. We use programming languages like Scala, Java, like JVM in general, Golang, JavaScript. Yeah, you see what I wrote there. And then from a technology perspective, even more. We have one of the biggest focuses for us is our Neo4j Aura, which is the cloud version of Neo4j. It's a fully managed database as a service, and there you have everything that is on the cloud, basically. We hire not only very good engineers like problem solvers and builders, but also the culture, how people are, and the values. That's very important. And we have fun at work as well. We do lots of stuff. You can see a little bit from the images, but we do like to spend time together and build and foster those relationships. We have the brown bag lunches. We have karaoke nights, game board nights, and you'll find people with similar interests for sure. So I would say it's a very nice place to be, and we enjoy spending time together. But let's see here. Let's move forward. And how do we select these engineers? And this is quite a broad. This maybe doesn't go only to engineers, but obviously it's a combination. The process works similar in many companies. It's a mix of inbound applicants, so people applying. Then we usually or always do sourcing as well, and also referrals. So we have a good. We actually don't have a referrals program today at Neo4j. When you actually get money, the philosophy is if you know good people you want to work with, you should share them because you want to work with them. And that has been working well. We get great referrals, and at times we get lots of applications, but we do sourcing as well to try to find the best ones we can. But this is not very specific about us. This is how the general market looks like for the most part. For engineers especially, we look at the technical skills, but also, as I mentioned, more about how are you, how is your work style, your collaboration, problem solving. It's a mix of these. Engineering mindset is always more important than if you know a specific technology or so, but we do need to, you work in a team that does a certain specific thing, so we need to look at the details as well. And we involve engineers a lot throughout the recruitment process, from the startup meeting we have with the hiring managers to really understand what are we looking for. Engineers joins that one, and they are involved throughout the process to help us. Like, I have a technical background, sure, but I'm far from an engineer. I'm a recruiter, so to help me and to help us to really, okay, is this does this person has the right technical skills and the potential and whatnot? They are very much involved, but also they will be working together. So not only involved, we will meet engineers throughout the process. And this also, again, this is usual for many tech companies. So it's nothing very Neo4j specific, but this is how we work here, at least. The recruitment process is to some degree quite standard, to be honest. Like, you start with a recruiter screen, usually with me, or Sam Jackson is the other tech recruiter, is based in London. At this stage, we look more of an overview, like why are you applying, why are you interested, why are you changing your jobs or looking for something new. Sometimes we go into more technical waters as well, bringing some technical questions from the team that helps us to clean the pipeline or do a little bit more technical screening, and then we try to see as well, okay, yeah, what values does this person have. It's more of a general interview. After that, you usually have a technical screening where you meet one or two engineers from the team directly. This one is function for many things. One, to get the candidate excited. I mean, speaking to me is not the same as speaking with your potential new coworkers. So it's a give and take. They will learn more about the technical experience, ask technical questions, and the same, the candidate is probably to do the same, ask questions, trying to understand, is this a team or something you would like to work with. After that, we have a technical homework. We have our own homeworks. They are done by the engineers. They can vary depending on the team. And we send this, if the technical screening is successful, you get a week where you build your solution. We're usually flexible. If you need a couple of extra days, you just ask for it. But you solve some kind of problem, right? And you submit your solution. The team evaluates that. And if successful, we have usually a pair programming follow-up. In that interview, you talk about your solution, guide through your ways of thinking, and then you do some pair programming. Sometimes it's connected to the actual solution. Sometimes it's a separate problem. This interview can feel a bit daunting or scary for candidates. That's not at all the intention, but pair programming is a common practice in software engineering. So it's a way to see, okay, how defensive does the person get, or also the collaboration part on top of the actual technical skills. Can you code? And also, it's good nowadays because these technical homeworks, you can actually, AI is a thing now, and you can use stuff like Cursor to solve them, and that it's there. But in a pair programming interview, it's not as easy to just let AI do the thing. You need to think for yourself. So that's a good way to pair that as well. We have not introduced this due to AI. We have this pair programming for a long time. Go on, Frederick. I saw, yeah.
Yeah, can I just stop you for a short while? We got a question actually from Thibaut.
Nice.
I think maybe we can jump into this one right away. So how do you decide?
How do you decide who gets the recruiter screen and who doesn't? You imagine not every applicant gets a screening interview. That's correct. Not every applicant gets a screening interview. It's not like physically doable almost. And how we decide is we have this startup meeting in the beginning of the hiring campaign, where we really try to pin down what are we looking for from an experience. Would be similar companies. There are many things that can play a role in why does any applicant get the chance to do the recruiter screen. At that stage, is mostly built on the CV, right? What is your experience? What have you done? Which programming languages or technologies you have worked with, education. We looked at everything and tried to see, okay, how good of a match are you against the job and against the other applicants. We do, it's a mix. Like if I see someone that I believe, okay, I think this is a relevant one, I will book the screening interview. If I'm not sure, we even have both hiring manager and engineers help us out with the screening of CVs to some degree as well. So sometimes also the engineers, they help us and guide us in, okay, this doesn't make sense, or this does make sense. This happens maybe if it's a new role in the beginning. But yeah, we screen the CVs basically, and we make a decision. How many we screen?
Quick question. Yeah. Do you auto screen? Like, do you use AI, for example, to like auto qualify candidates, or use it manually?
No, we don't do that. We do that. It's I mean, the ATS has a function where I can input a Boolean or certain keywords, and it shows me, okay, any candidates that matches those, but we don't get a rating for it. I've seen systems that does that, like based on, and they're new, like the AI Gen AI ones. They're quite impressive. Like they can understand the context, not only keyword based, and then you get a rating, which doesn't need to be bad. Like if I look through 100 CVs, maybe the first 50, I'm still, up in my game. I'm still concentrated. But after the number 70, I'm a human. I get fatigued. So there is a, it's a whole discussion. We could have our own meeting regarding, the AI and how good it is. But yeah, we don't have a fully automated, like it gives us scoring. Not yet.
Get it. Yeah, and we got some more questions from Sasha, for example, and I will come back to that one after your presentation, actually. So super
Very
interesting.
good. Awesome. And yes, after the technical or pair programming, you meet the hiring manager. At this point, not as technical, more, how would you complement the team, your collaboration, communication, even deeper on the soft skills. And then we have a final HR interview. That one serves as a last, check. Not sure if the right word, but it's more focused on culture and values. So you get to know each other, and the person who does that for engineering and product management, her name is Michaela. She has been in the company for 15 plus years, building culture and values at Neo4j. She always been supporting engineering and product. So she's a wonderful person to speak to really understand the heart of the company. This process takes around 3 to 4 weeks to give you an idea, to go through at a normal pace.
Cool. I have just one quick question here. Regarding the process, I mean, there are lots of different people that the candidates will meet. And I guess, I mean, you have your biases or like your point of view regarding like who's the right fit or not. Then an engineer comes in and they have their point of view. Like, is that like you try to be as transparent as possible, of course, but like is that like a big challenge you have? Like, who's actually in charge of hiring the person, and how do you like handle these different emotions throughout the process?
It's a very good question, and I mean, I can say that I am not in charge of who gets hired in the end. I'm more like, as a recruiter, I facilitate the process, I coordinate, I drive it. Obviously, I have lots of insights and experience, and can support everyone from the engineers to the managers to take decision. But the final decision is the hiring managers in the end. But there's, at least at Neo4j, was similar at IKEA, to be honest. There is, usually it works on consensus. I mean, hiring manager, yes, but they will work with the engineers. If the engineers tells us, it's built on trust. We trust each other. We work together. It's a team effort. Recruitment is not a one person like owning it. It's me together with the hiring manager, together with the engineers, together with the final, the HRBP. So it's a mix. So we work here together. And if I give my thoughts, maybe have a red flag, communication wasn't the greatest for this and this other reason, then it continues to get evaluated. And so it's a mix. I never got into too big of we shouldn't or should hire. Usually if they get to the end, it's quite if they made it through, they're a hire. Usually we have a very high bar at Neo4j, not only like culture and values, yes, the technical part even more. So usually when we lose, most of the candidates are at around that stage, because it's a hard challenge. We have a high bar for our engineers. So if they get through that, then usually there is a good consensus. Sometimes, I cannot see everything. So whatever the engineer says or the hiring manager says, that's very valuable. And if needed, we have the follow-up meetings, debriefing meetings, where we discuss the candidates, share our thoughts and what we should think, and we make a decision in the end together. Yes.
Yeah.
Good question. Awesome. That was it from what I wanted to share, and I think we can get into more the actual Q&A from that perspective. Let's see.
Amazing.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks for that. And actually, I can bring in a question from the audience. So we have Sasha asking here: how does it take for a resume to stand out?
Yeah, I get this question many times, and what Sasha asks here makes a lot of sense. Well designed, yes, it helps. It helps in a way that me as a recruiter, like sometimes I get hundreds of applications, and I don't have 10 minutes for each CV, maybe not even 5 minutes. Like I need to optimize my time. The easier it is for me to spot keywords or what I'm looking for, the higher chance that I actually see it, right? So yes, we don't hire people that are designers. Sometimes we do, if it's certain roles like more front-end oriented, then it makes even more sense. You have an design eye for design or something like that. But I try not to get too biased how the CV is done. Some CVs are better, like if it's too long and too much information, it gets overwhelming for me. So I like, and that's maybe also unfortunately goes into personal preferences, but the more condensed, the more easy it is for my eye to understand where you're located, your education, what you worked with, the tenure, the technologies, the better. So yeah, I think that helps a lot. And also, as I said, the applicant tracking system, it looks for keywords as well. And you have these auto scoring AI tools as well. The more you can make it relevant, and then maybe then you should write a bit longer. I don't know, but I would say yes, it helps. It makes it easier for me to make a decision or to actually see.
Yeah. So have in mind that Pietro has, like, you say 1 minute, but maybe you have 10 seconds per resume after, like if there are like hundreds.
Yeah, it's I try to give each some, but yeah, sometimes it's hard for sure. And this is a wide recruiter thing. Like good question.
And another question, like a follow-up question here, because applying is one thing, like having a good resume. Of course, that's important. But like, how do you like build a relation as a candidate? How can you like build a relationship with you as a recruiter without feeling like spammy? Because I know it's like following up and connecting on LinkedIn and emailing that, oh yeah, I have applied, take a look at this. Like, how do you like keep that balance from like not being spammy but still being top of mind?
It's that's a very good question. And so let me start with, unfortunately, giving a single follow-up either through email or through LinkedIn, that's fine. It's appreciated as well. It depends how you do it. Like I get sometimes reach outs like, yeah, here's my CV, help me find a job at your company. Like that's not my job, right? But if you type to me, yes, I have applied, that's why I'm excited, that's nice. But you should not expect an answer always. Like I get many reach outs, and it's impossible to me to answer to them all. So often I try not even to answer, because I feel unfair if I answer to some and not to all. So that's always a problem, but many times we see it. So that's always appreciated. Then how to connect, I mean, be on top of mind. There are many ways. To give you the Neo4j example, like we are a tech company, we are open source. You could, if you want, you don't need to do that. That's way over the bar. But we are an open source. You can contribute. We have free courses. We have our Graph Academy where you can learn about Neo4j. The first parts are very easy and small. Doing this kind of stuff that goes the extra mile, you should do them if you're interested in that. But that shows, okay, you're really excited to join. If you, then it's all of getting that first interview, and you can do even more there. But do some research, be engaged with the company, like posts on LinkedIn, whatever, anything that can get you closer. We have conferences and stuff that Neo4j organizes for users and customers. Maybe there is one nearby. They're free. Go there, right? And engage with us as a technology, maybe. Not only as an applicant. That could be something, I think, of value. Yeah.
Great insight. And also regarding this relationship building part with you, do you think it's an idea to connect with a hiring manager, or like these kind of things as well?
Yeah, I mean, why not? It doesn't hurt. And something that sometimes I get these questions like, do you help me find the job, or can you recommend me to that's not how it works. A better approach is maybe even connecting with an engineer, asking how is it working at Neo4j, ask for advice for what could I do, rather than because at least many of our candidates, they're not only candidates, you could be a potential user. We are a database, so you should maybe approach it in a different way, engage with the product as well. That will definitely help. This goes for many types of tech companies, but connecting with people, it's never bad. I think
to just nudge you into becoming interested in you as a candidate without overselling yourself.
Yeah, inbound marketing, but from the candidate side, almost.
Exactly. Do you have any cool examples? Do you have any candidates that actually did something really cool that really stood out?
Yeah, I mean, yes, for sure. And it's not that they did it because they thought, okay, I'm doing this because I want to join Neo4j, but I've hired candidates that has done PhD research into graph, and many times they use Neo4j as a reason for that, because we are the biggest graph database, the inventors of it. But in those cases, obviously their profile stands out in another way, but they are I could not get them more excited, because they are so excited already to be able to work on the technology, then be using for the research which they're passionate about. That is, it's really, really nice. And yeah, that's one example. Hiring in GenAI as well, we get these good applications where people really believe that, okay, graph can take GenAI and LLMs to the next level, and that if you come with that belief and energy, which is what we're working towards, that stands you out. But it should be real, right? You shouldn't fake things either, because you will not get all the way, for sure. So if it's not that interesting, maybe it's not, right? So yeah.
So showing genuine commitment, and maybe you don't need to do your whole PhD about Neo4j, but maybe doing something that is related to what you do. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I have a quick question here from RD, and yeah, how is the distribution in seniority?
Very good question. For most teams, I would say it's quite good. I don't have ratio numbers, but I can give you examples. So we do run a master thesis program, mostly with the LTH, in Lutz University. We believe at diverse teams, on experiences as well, that just adds to how we solve problems. And for example, I'm hiring right now in the kernel team, in the core database part of Neo4j, and that team is quite huge. It's more than 10 engineers, and there is quite a good balance from juniors that has come in from master thesis projects and very senior engineers. So the ratio is usually quite good. And as a team grows, if it's a very new team, then maybe we don't hire juniors directly. But once they start to become 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, then it's natural. Okay, then it makes sense to also hire more junior or inexperienced engineers. So it's something we like to do from time to time. We post even new grad opportunities to actually hire more junior candidates. So it's something we enjoy doing, and we think it's very important. It brings much to a team for sure. It gives opportunities to mentorship and whatnot. So for the most part, it's a good balance. Yeah.
I like the second question here is also quite relevant, because like in general, like as a junior candidate without that experience, like how do you show up then compared to the senior one?
Yes, then in those cases is at the application stage is extra relevant that you showcase what you have done so far. Doesn't need to be much, but if you have a GitHub with projects in it, show that, because we need to know a little bit more. If you're junior, we will ask for grades at Neo4j. And that's because, if you have 1 year or not, maybe not even have any experience after your education, then we have not so much to go for. Then we ask for grades, and we look for, okay, which were your best grades, which subjects, right? Are you more, I don't know, more algorithmic problem solver or whatever, more on the front end side, depending on what you have done. But that's something we usually ask for, and we look at projects, and more when we assess you, we try to gauge the potential, because at the same time, you'll do the same homework. Don't get me wrong, it's the same homework. But obviously, if someone has 10 years of experience, we have a bit, okay, we expect something different than someone fresh from school, for example. And many times I've seen that juniors maybe do even better than much more experience. So it's about the engineering mindset, the problem solving. So it doesn't mean in the end, okay, we hire a more senior at times because we need someone that ramps up quickly with those technologies, but still engineering mindset is at heart, and juniors can have very strong ones as well.
So in some ways, showing that you are an initiative taker in some way, by maybe like showcasing like small projects, but so you can see that, wow, this person is actually trying things all the time and want to learn things all the time.
Yeah, that helps. Otherwise, it's hard. We don't have much to go through, right? Or like to assess already at the application stage. But
Get it. A quick question from Sasha here. What about cover letters? That's an interesting topic. Is that like relevant 2025 or?
Yeah, it's a hot topic always. Cover letters. Like my take on this, and maybe I'm speaking more personally now. We don't hire people based on how well they can type a cover letter, right? So that shouldn't be the full reason why you get progress or not. What it can help to do adds more context on why are you interested in Neo4j? Why are you interested in this team, for example? Sometimes I get these cover letters that just explaining their experience again, but I already have that in the CV, right? But if it adds a bit more why you're applying, is there anything specific that it's good to showcase? Maybe you have done some Graph Academy or whatever. Why are you interested? That adds a little bit, gives us context, but we still try to go for, okay, what's your overall experience, basically, right? So yeah, can help to some degree. I don't think it's a must. I don't have it as a minus if someone has one or not. If I get one that doesn't really adds anything, I just ignore it. I try not either to give them minus points, because in some cases, in some industries or whatever, it's just common to have you feel that you must have one and you just put one. I know how it is to look for a job, and you try to do your best in many ways. So yeah, I try to be as detached from that as possible, but sometimes it's a nice read for sure.
Cool. And I go on with one more question here shortly. Time is almost running up. We might go for like 2-3 minutes extra, but from Tibor, what do you perceive as the biggest bottleneck?
That's a very good question, and like I said, our process takes some time, 3 to 4 weeks. That itself it's not super fast, and at times it takes longer. The bottleneck is a mix of things. It's a number of applications to go through, but the technical stages like that takes time. Also providing feedback. If you don't get through after the technical stages, we connect with engineers, we collect the technical feedback. I need to understand it, and then I convey it. That whole the technical stages is probably what takes the most time, because there is a week of the technical homework, you have a pair programming, and we have follow-ups after each, and providing feedback, good or more constructive. That takes time, and that's usually when candidates drop, because it's a high bar, it's a difficult one to pass, and that it takes time. But the time to hire, how much time it takes for one candidate to go through, that's usually around those numbers. But the time to feel, okay, how long does it take us to identify the one that actually makes it all the way, that can be much longer, which is the usual case. But the technical stages are the more challenging one, I think. For the most part, though, it's a well-oiled process. I think we're always trying to find how can we make it better, provide better feedback. We do have surveys, and we look at candidate NPS score and comments, and try to make it better, which we have done some changes in the process in the past as well.
Yeah, get it. And I just add the last question here from RD regarding this one. Yeah, you look at grades and other masters, but yeah, self-taught people, are they like not considered at all in your process, or how is it like?
Very, very good question. It depends, to be honest. It depends on the position, the role, and what kind of seniority we're looking for. If it's a junior candidate, then yes, we not require, but it's much easier to get a chance if you have a master's in a relevant field. If you have years of experience, 5 up to 10, and you don't have the traditional, that doesn't really matter, to be honest. This is a topic that unfortunately has some bias around it, and it can depend on the person who's looking at your CV. But I would say no. If you have experience, then what you have done 10 years ago during your master, if you have them or not, that doesn't really count. If you have interesting experience from similar companies or the technologies, that's just as relevant and shouldn't hold you back. So, yeah, but so for more junior candidates, it's easier to,
but then you need to showcase like more projects, more achievements, more things you have done, because having this grade might be valuable still. So
yeah, I mean, historically, I think many engineers, that's why usually a master's become an engineer, right? And we hire mostly software engineers. That's what we call it as well. Yeah. And historically, the base of our engineering usually comes, but we still believe in diversity from experiences as well. And we probably, I'm sure we have engineers that doesn't have the traditional background as you would expect maybe or see.
Get it. Thanks for that. Time is actually running up, so I just want to wrap this up a bit. And my last question to you, Pietro. I would love to have 2 more hours with you, but it is how it is. Maybe we can do another session later on. But if someone watching this really wants to improve their job chances this week, in short term, what do you think they should do? Or do you have 1 or 2 do this that is more important than any other thing?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. It's hard to put, okay, this is the most important or not, but level up your try to level up your visibility. Look at your LinkedIn profile. Does it look good? Try to engage with people. You said connecting with hiring manager. That's good. At Neo4j, for example, we share a lot of context, research, GenAI, engage and be visible. Invest some time in learning about the technologies around. That's good. If you learn about Neo4j, of course, it's going to be relevant. And the networking, I think, is very good. There are many ways to do that, but I mentioned ask for advice, input when connecting, attend meetups, go to conferences. That's where you meet like-minded people, and it's a good way to get to know the people working, and that for sure helps. So target where companies are hanging out, and it's easy.
So it sounds like you consider like switching the mindset a bit from like selling or applying to just like nudging the way into the process. Feels a bit like relationship building, right? Start with saying
Yes, that's what Neo4j and Graph is all about. So we believe in that, and I think it's a good way. Also, I want to say the job market is very tough. Like now, tougher than ever. Companies they do layoffs, and it's very hard. No matter if you have an engineering, software engineering degree in computer science, it's hard now to get a job. So be prepared. If you get an interview, a chance to interview, read upon the company, the values. Preparation is key, especially if you get a chance. But it's a tough market, so don't give up. Hopefully this will change. But that's the reality. But you can work with this type of things to ease or help you out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's a lot about mindset, because it's so easy to be desperate when you're like actively looking for something. But in the end, it's all about showing up as yourself and like being genuine in your interest, not trying to like fake it because you need a job. So yeah, really, really interesting advice here. And Pietro, like, how can people reach out to you after this session?
Connect with me on LinkedIn. I did have one of the slides. Let's see, but I can maybe
actually,
join.
I think we have you on the event page on HiCareer as well. So
that's the easiest way. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I post the jobs we usually post, and so do that for sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm super excited that you wanted to join us, Pietro. And I thank you all that have been here listening to Pietro as well. So just connect with Pietro and go on asking questions to him. So he have a whole summer. We have a baby, but I mean, I guess you have time to answer some questions through LinkedIn, right?
for sure. I'll find the time. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Very good questions from the audience. I truly appreciate that. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Amazing. And just like a last thing, like next week, next Wednesday at 11:30, we are having our next session with Linus Digital Camp. He's been like working for brands like Spotify, Klarna, Nubank, Magic, like a lot of interesting brands. So he will share his experiences and learnings from these different places. So hopefully you will all join there. You can find the event on HiCareer and join that as well. Cool. Super happy to have you all here, and thanks a lot for today.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Ciao.